Hi guys, Tal here. Usually my video clips show the product and configuration concept with the focus on system administrators. In this video, I'd like to show how Venafi Trusted Platform can help the end user to be more effective and remove repetitive operation of certificate management. I'll show how Bob takes an advantage of intelligence and automation that Venafi Platforms offers. Bob is application owner. He needs 2 new servers to be provisioned for his line of business. Recently, Bob opened a support ticket asking for new web servers. Support came back with IP address and DNS names. Since those servers were provisioned from template image, Bob still needs to perform some adjustment to the configuration. Here, you can see 2 servers use the same certificate, and we're going to fix it. Bob logons to Venafi user portal, Aperture, where he can see all certificates he manages. Only 2 for now, but the good news, Bob complies with the corporate policy. Bob can also see the expiration timeline for certificate, so he would not miss it. But even so, our goal is to automate certificate management and take this repetitive task out of Bob's monthly routine. Let's generate a new certificate. Bob will go under Inventory, Certificates. He will see a list of current certificates that he manages. Let's create a new certificate. As a defined user on the system and some certificate owner, Bob has its own folder. So he will select this folder, and this is where all his certificates lives. Now also, based on the folder that Bob selects, the choices that he needs to follow presented to Bob. So he will start with a nickname. He will put some explanation about why this certificate was issued. He can make some choices about what level of automation he wants, who is going to be contact on this certificate. He can have an option to generate CSR or allow system to generate CSR. He will need to provide a common name, the city, for example Amsterdam, and the country, and then he will need to select what algorithm he wants. Obviously there are some key size that maybe we don't want Bob to choose. Bob will click on next. Now he can see a subject alternative name. He can select who is approvers. He can control whether automatic renewal will take place or not. He also has a chance to select what certificate template to use. And then Bob will click on submit, and certificate was sent to the system. If I click on close, I will be redirected to a screen where my certificate and its detail being presented to me as a Bob. So this was the first certificate. But you know what? Let's make the same experience even easier for Bob. So how we can make a system configuration such that Bob not necessarily need to fill so many fields, and Bob will not be exposed to some potential errors. Let me switch to administrative view. Here's the same portal, the same widgets. Now we can see many more certificates that are under management. This is because I log on as a Venafi operator. As such, I also have an exposure to extra menu options that usually are hidden from Bob, and I can go and change policy on the folders that Bob uses to generate his certificate. Here our Bob folder, and I'm going to make some changes around fields that I'd like to control better. When I do some change, I can lock this field and it will not show up to Bob as an option to choose. So for example, who is the contact? I know that Linux group, it's a contact for those certificates that Bob creates, or who is the approver, and the management type, and the company name. But I still will leave open organizational unit and city. Now states, we do not use states, so I will also lock it. Country I have here. Important decision around security of certificates. I don't want Bob to choose wrong key size. Another option that I control is where CSR are going to be created. So I want everything managed by the system. I also would like to do SHA-256, SHA-2, all my certificate, it's already been logged. I want control domain name that Bob can use for certificate, so I don't want Bob to make any mistakes in spelling. I will also log this option. And one other thing that I can log, let me find it, it's CA template. I know that Bob's supposed to use only very specific template. So let me save this option. We also have some advanced options to configure, but for now it will make it work. Another option that I want to do is to add a cost center field for Bob to fill every time he generates certificate, because this allows me to generate chargeback or maybe just to be extra information that I will be interesting to see in my reports. So I will go to custom field. I will create a new custom field. Let's call it cost center, and the type is going to be a string required for certificates. There's some flexibility that I can do around it. I even can use a regex to create some certain patterns, numbers and letters, but 6 characters, not more than 8 characters, and so on. So I will click on save, and with those changes, let's see how Bob's going to generate the second certificate. And let me go back to Bob view. Let's see how those changes will affect Bob experience in certificate request. So I will select the folder. Now you can see I have less fields. I have a new field, cost center. So let's type beta vendemo.com, and I will have web application 01, the other side, cost center. I will pretend something, common name. Let me make a mistake and see how system will respond to this. As you can see, Bob cannot continue because of invalid line. So I'm back to demo, all good. City, it's going to be Baltimore and US. And I click on next. No additional information required. And I click on submit. As you can see, the certificate request now looks much more straightforward. Let me close this one, and the system will redirect me to certificate page. Here I can see the value that Bob selected, as well as value that came from the policy. Back to certificates. Now I have alpha and beta, 2 certificates that potentially I want to apply on those 2 sites. How do I push those certificates there? You can imagine many options exist. You can download certificates as a PFX file, you can send it there, but this is not with Venafi. This is not how Venafi works. We want to streamline all processes. If I go to Alpha and if I click on Add Installation, it will allow me to choose the level of automation that I want for this certificate. I really would like to track and validate and automate installation for this certificate. Bob needs to select device where he wants the certificate to be installed. But right now we don't have any, so Bob will need to create his new device. Device is a machine, is a target where a certificate is going to be pushed. It can be IP address or it can be DNS name as soon as it can be resolved. I will type name for the first server. Now Bob needs to choose where to store this object for the target machine. So the convention is to separate between certificates and devices, target machines, because sometimes the owner of machine might be different from the owner of application. So for example, if I need to install certificate on my Apache server, not necessarily I take full responsibility on this Linux machine. And this is where magic happens. We need to select what type of target machine we're dealing with. And this is what Venafi is known for. It's an ecosystem. And what type of target machines we can work. So you can see here Microsoft IIS, Azure, AWS, and specifically I need Apache HTTP server. I also will select what port this application listens on. Some of other configurations that I need to do, they might be very specific for this target machine. Same as administrator helped me to eliminate some questions that I don't need necessarily to take care when I generate certificate. He also helped me to pre-fill all this information, so I don't need to deal with any of those. I just click on Save. So now I have installation type Apache that tied specific certificate to device alpha-vndemo.com. So if I go back to Alpha website and I click on refresh, I still can see that certificate reported by this machine, it's Apache venifydemo.com. So you can see it here. All Bob needs to do right now is to click on install. So what will happen behind the scenes, Venafi will run a job that will take certificate, reach out to target machine, replace keys on the target machine, private key, the chain, the certificate itself. This is the full automation around the certificate provisioning. If I refresh screen, we will see that installation validation successful. It means that I can expect target machine have a new certificate in place. So I'm going to refresh this machine, and you can see alpha-vndemo.com. If I go under certificate, it's alpha-vndemo.com. So we replace certificate and we updated Apache to use a new certificate. I need to close my browser and open it again to read off this alert that's been cached. So let's do the same for beta. So I refresh it again. I still see Apache Venafi. If I go to certificate, it says Apache. As a Bob, I go to my inventory, certificates. I will see that Apache has one installation already in place. So let's do the same for beta. I do add installation. Next, create new device. Let's type IP address. What was it? 52. I'll place it to the same folder. I'll choose Apache HTTP server, add install. Yes, configure now. Just save. Everything is pre-configured for me. Click on install. The job started. I'll wait a second. Refresh the screen. It's not yet validated. Validating install. So those are stages that Venafi report on every stage in the way how it's success. So now I have this device based by IP address. I have this beta. I click, refresh, and now I have my beta. So the idea from this video is to show how Bob was able to send a request, get back IP addresses and DNS names, and how he generate appropriate certificate, how he push the certificate to target system, and how system will routinely update the certificate year over year, leaving Bob out of troubles of certificates outages or just need to follow his certificate worksheet and see what's happening. So you can see here I have two certificates that are going to be expired on March 28. Those two, if I click, I will see alpha and beta. We have 59 days because my certificate template was for 60 days. Somewhere 30 days before expiration, Venafi will report to Bob that I successfully replaced certificate on your machines, and technically you have nothing to do but go and work with some other tasks. Thank you for spending time with me. I hope it was informative. See you in my next video.